Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I know we have people across the globe here. Thank you for joining our webinar today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alok Pant. I'm CEO of Unvired based in Houston, Texas. And we are delighted to have one of our customers, Jim Wilson of NuStar Energy, joining us today. Jim will be sharing NuStar's digital journey, especially as it relates to mobilizing SAP plant maintenance. Jim is the lead ERP project specialist at NuStar and has led their mobile app for SAP plant maintenance work orders for the last 5 years. And so we are very glad that he's going to share his story with us. But before I hand over to Jim, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. At any point, you can submit your questions through the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. You can see that Q&A button. And also, we will have a question, of course, at the end when we'll open up the lines. You can also ask your questions via audio. And we do have a special offer for all webinar attendees today. We are offering you a free proof of concept so that you can actually play with the app and help build the business case for digitizing maintenance. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the agenda. So we'll go over the pain problems. When I say we, it's mainly Jim today. We'll have the customer speak here. Jim will share his digitization framework, discuss, talk about 3 initiatives they have actually rolled out. But the focus today, of course, is mobile plant maintenance. But they've also, deployed mobile apps for inventory management, for PO approvals, and also so that for workflow approvals and inventory management to track the material against their capital expenditures. So Jim will be sharing that. He'll discuss business benefits, lessons they have learned, key takeaways, and of course, we'll do Q&A. And I'm going to take about maybe 1 minute to go over the next 4 or 5 slides, just to give you an overview of Unvired, so the conversation is more contextual. So we are a Houston, Texas headquartered company, and we have customers all over the globe, mostly in US and Canada, North America, but certainly in Europe and other parts of the world as well. We are a certified SAP partner, and a lot of our customers are indeed, SAP customers. Okay, quick solution overview. We do mobile asset management, warehouse management. Tied with the whole asset management piece is safety. So we have an application for safe work permit. We have a Turbo Forms application that works closely with the asset management apps to convert paper forms to digital and make sure work orders even more electronic. And then we have a low-code app development platform, and we also do SAP Fiori apps. So I'm going to go really quickly here. We've got our recognition by Gartner, and every 3 years we get our solutions recertified by SAP. And this is just a nutshell, a view in a nutshell of our application in this space. So you can see there's the operator rounds, work orders, inventory management, work permits, warehouse management, and then planning and scheduling. So this is a snapshot of our applications in this space. You can deploy them on-premise or cloud. These applications run offline. They work cross-platform across iOS, Android, Windows. Last slide is our key differentiators. Just want to highlight a couple of things. We are very proud that our customers, we have happy reference customers, and Jim is speaking today. That's living proof of that. We're also very proud that we see ourselves as cost leaders. So we want to have customers really get value from their solutions. I'm not going to dwell too much on this. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Jim, because I know you guys are registered to hear Jim speak. So Jim, I'm going to hand it over to you, and if you can take us through your journey.
Thank you, Alok. Well, my name is Jim Wilson. I'm a lead ERP Project Specialist. As Alok mentioned, NuStar Energy. We're headquartered in San Antonio, Texas. My personal background, I have about 30 years in the information technology field, about 12 years with SAP, and I'm currently the support for the functional side of PM here at NuStar, working with both the business and the development teams. As I said, we are a midstream company. We're based in San Antonio. We have about 10,000 miles of pipeline and 63 terminals and storage facilities, and we're both in the United States and Mexico. We handle crude oil, refined products, especially liquids, and currently we're at about 49 million barrels of storage capacity. Some of our pain problems, and I'm going to talk not just bullet by bullet here, but to kind of summarize everything on the screen. In the midstream world, there's a lot of divestitures, a lot of acquisitions, things of that nature, and they're usually spatially wide, meaning it could be in different countries, different parts of the country, you know, wetlands, dry lands, it could be anything. But what you get with that is, especially with acquisitions, you get different people and different data, and they're coming from an existing company of some sort where they did things one way. And after a while, you kind of get plowed under where you have your location landscape in SAP is kind of a hodgepodge of your master data, where, you know, this looks this way, this looks that way, everything's kind of done a little different. Also, on the same side of that, you have different management styles in different areas from employees that have come on with those assets or gone away with them. So in that same process, some of those guys like to keep paper on file. Not necessarily efficient, might be efficient for that site, but it's not efficient for the company. There's 2 or 3 people working at the location that know the entire history of all these pumps and tanks and why we do stuff a certain way. And, you know, it's all in those guys' minds. So if we lose those guys, we lose a lot. There's not a lot being put into the SAP side. Everything was paper or personnel-based, I guess you would call it. And on top of that, no 2 sites really did anything the same way with the same kind of data. So what we're really trying to get a handle on is, you know, number one, just for efficiency of operating procedures, trying to track costs, trying to get everyone doing things the same way, and trying to get them to all take ownership of it as well. So those were our pain problems going through here. We wanted to really streamline the plant maintenance. We wanted to enable the mobile solution everywhere that we could. And we want to make the users or the workers own the application and make them highly productive in what they do. Another side of it is we wanted to really work on the efficiency of our auditing capabilities, you know, be able to better prepare for audit and things of that nature across the board, not dependent on the site. So we're also looking to, you know, right now, everything with what I just described, we were in a real reactive mode. Things happened, we reacted to it. There was nothing, we couldn't get in front of the curve because we didn't have the data we needed to be there. We wanted to eliminate the paper-based type work processes that were going. We wanted to increase productivity. We wanted, you know, our managers had really no insight to, they kind of knew in their head who was doing what at a particular plant, but they couldn't manage the guy's time. You know, they couldn't load balance anybody, saying, hey, this guy's doing everything this week and these other 2 aren't doing anything. He can really get his load balanced in and increase his productivity across the plant. This does do increase safety and compliance, and it obviously reduces maintenance costs because you're not paying all this overtime to one person. From a compliance standpoint, we really wanted something where we could have a digitized trail of everything that happened with our compliance items, something that we could go back across time and see everything that happened in compliance world for that particular item. And the same kind of goes with mechanical integrity. We really weren't able to build a history on any of our equipment records to maintain a legacy for later employment to keep track of all of those issues and history for each equipment. So that was another big point that we were trying to go to, was to build our history on our equipment and make it easy for every site to stay in compliance the same way. And operations as well. We wanted to be able, everybody kind of, doesn't have to be exact, but everybody do things in the same manner. If you're doing pump checks, everybody does the same kind of pump checks. If somebody comes up with a better way to do a pump check, it's brought before everyone, and we make the change before everyone, and everyone starts doing it the same way. That's something that's really driving this, and it's really, we're able to get a handle on costs. We're able to get a handle on, the bad actors. We're able to view schedules. We're able to maintain workloads, meet deadlines. Forecasting is there. We can see everything that's coming up. We're still able to maintain for emergencies as well. That was our drive for this. So next. So this is kind of a technical thing on how we did it. Obviously, I mean, we researched a lot of companies at the time. I think this was back in, was it 2017, 2018, somewhere in that time frame.
Probably 17.
17. Yeah, we were looking at that time, and there were some companies really starting to come out with mobile solutions for plant maintenance. The biggest thing most of them did not have was offline capability at that time, and that's what we were really looking for. And Alok and his team here had an app that was probably the closest of any of them to our requirements that we'd come up with. And so we worked with Alok to get our own version to satisfy the rest of our requirements from his product. And kind of what we ended up with was, I mean, we ended up using the OData services from the app to SAP. That gives us access to pretty much anything in SAP. We also integrated to OpenText. OpenText is our document management repository. Anything that's associated to SAP or to OpenText via SAP is made available to the users on the app. So if I have specs or technical diagrams or how-tos on an inspection, any of that can be easily opened on the app and viewed by the user. The user can create notifications on the fly from any page in the app. We can ensure that the users are actually doing the work at the equipment because we have RFID tagged each of the equipment records, and then a scan is required to unlock inspections or to do work on an equipment. You can bypass it, but you have to give a valid reason. We also track GPS coordinates on each transaction, and that gives us accountability, especially in the compliance and the audits. We can prove that the guy was standing right next to this tank whenever he did the inspection. He also scanned the tag that's stuck on this tank. So we have a lot of accountability we can work into it and enforce in there as well. All of the data on the app, the users are able to update master data. They can add new equipment records. They can update equipment records. They can remove equipment records. We do have gatekeeper type processes in place for those types of things. We have the ability to determine or build out audit packages, custom audit packages as needed for our regulatory audits. If they want to come down and see a line in a linear fashion and view all of the block valves in that line in a linear fashion, we have the ability to pull that for whatever time period they're needing and present it to them. Again, all of this, everything the user needed to be able to do, the user can do offline. We do have a manual sync process worked into the app where the user can choose his time to sync his data back to SAP and SAP back to him. We utilize Windows 10 mobile devices. We have a 10-inch tablet that we use, and most of the guys really like them. They're standard Windows desktop. So, I mean, the guys, it also helps up our hardware team as well. They're not trying to maintain, you know, a desktop, a laptop, and a tablet for this guy. Pretty much the tablet is his new workstation. So he comes in and docks it and works from there as well.
Jim, I guess before we move on, I think the audience may be interested in the HSC, the safety and enhancements you've been making to these apps over the last couple of years. Can you talk to those HSC related enhancements?
Yeah, absolutely. We HSC is our health and safety environmental, and our current product that we're using to handle compliance actually had an end of life, and so we absorbed that into this app, and HSC loves this app. We've made a lot of enhancements for them, especially through our open text and our PDF generations for each inspection record. HSC, we have a number of inspection type reports that they can come in and see, you know, what's been done, what hasn't been done, who hasn't done it, was it done correctly. On top of that, anything that fails will automatically in SAP generate a notification and send it to or notify the correct managers of that equipment so that they know something else is going on. We have full tracking going through from the failed inspection all the way through the notification, the remedial work order, and the follow-up inspection. There's a full tracking report for that in SAP for our users, our HSE users specifically. We are able to mine the data off the PDF, and we have a dashboard that we built to where they can trend certain questions on an inspection form to a particular equipment inspection record to see, you know, this brand of pump, you know, is it using up bearings faster than some other brand of pump or motor or something like that? So there's lots of things that they can utilize this for, and so it's a safety, it's a proactive thing, and we use it a lot for audit as well. So
I think that was really insightful. So thanks for that. I'm going to move on to the next slide here. Yeah, this is the inventory management.
Yeah, the inventory management. This is very nice. We're able to remotely receive PO items. They can do the reverse goods receipts. They can issue it from the staging locations, from a scanning device. They can do the reversals. We have several reports. All of this also can be done offline. We also have this is also done on the Windows 10-inch tablets. They can, most of it's done by barcoding. They're able to print the barcodes off the PO and scan it and tag the equipment as it comes in, and then be able to scan it, do the goods receipts, and assignments as it's used down the road. So. On the workflow approvals, this one's been a big hit at NuStar as well, especially with our upper management. Not having to chase down everyone who needs to be an approval on the workflow chain. All be done actually, this one actually they can run from their phone. So, I mean, you get push and notifications, email notifications. They can see everything attached to or having to do with that purchase order. We don't have someone going around the building trying to get all of the signatures needed to approve a purchase order anymore. So, especially for the AFE stuff, it's been a big help, and it's been highly successful. I have not heard any issues on this one as well.
And Jim, I was actually pleasantly surprised when, I think it was a couple of months ago, we were having lunch, and when you guys mentioned that this has become a super duper hit, right? So I was not expecting that. Yeah. Okay.
This one has high visibility. I mean, it's like I said, this is upper management. This is people love this app. So this is
right.
it's a huge time saver, and it's a nice streamline to the whole process. So, yeah, just to kind of give an example, we had, I guess, we had 2 pilot sites in place when COVID hit. And that's where I really saw this is what this is going to do. This is how this is really going to benefit us. Is our sites that we had a really large terminal and two pipelines in our pilot, and they were fully deployed and doing, they were full on, they were our guinea pigs. And when COVID hit, those guys stayed together. I mean, you went to a skeleton crew in the terminals. Nobody's allowed to be around each other. Nobody's allowed to really, work together as normal. But with the app, they were able to stay together. They were able to continue their uptime and keep their work going. They could still manage their load well. This is where the benefit just came busting out. Everything was available to everyone. I mean, managers had their reports, managers had their data that they wanted to see. Nobody was having to call meetings or get together to try to do things. That's where I really saw it, and it kind of speaks to each one of these buttons here. We achieved exactly what we were wanting to do. Everything is real time, everything's digital, everybody can see the same thing, people are doing things the same way. We're able to track costs, we're in compliance, we are building history on our equipment, all of those things they're just coming to life. But it didn't pause at COVID. This app really kind of pole vaulted us through COVID. So for those sites that we added up. The other sites, you did see them struggling with it. So, they have, it was all phone calls and emails and people trying to manage things. And this site, these sites that we had this app at were really able to just continue kind of on business as usual. So that was a big thing. So.
Right, Jim. So I have a question. So typically, when one talks of mobile asset management, people are talking notifications, inspections, work orders. But I know one of your key solution areas in this was the master data management. And can you talk about the business benefit related to improved data quality with the MDM that you were able to do through the app?
Absolutely, that's one thing that this app really forced us into. I kind of spoke to it a little bit at the beginning, where I was saying where, everybody that especially our acquisitions, everybody, all the data is just a slightly bit different. In order to use this app the way we intend, your data, the master data for that site has to be clean, and it has to be concise and correct. And really, this app forces us to have that kind of data. But like I spoke earlier, given the ownership of this app to the users or the employees, it was really they took to it, and they were really wanting to keep their data up. They were excited about it. It's like, wow, I can have all of this right here on my tablet. I can see everything that I need to do my job. So yeah, it was a huge undertaking. It is a huge undertaking at every site to go and do this. Do you want to do it spatially? Do you want to do it by equipment types? How do you want your locations done? What kind of data do you want to manage on your equipment? All of that is there, and it's all available, and they take full advantage of all of it. But yeah, it's a huge undertaking to get it all done. But we've done it several dozen times now, and it's getting better. And we have a defined structure on how to go into a site and ask the right questions and get the right things done and get the right people involved to get the data clean and ready for use in the app. But yeah, and then post that, the people can go in and see things, because you got somebody, from the Northeast, and he's coming down to Texas to cover for somebody else. He knows how to go in and see the data. Because it's the same way they see the data on their side. There's no differences anymore. So that's a real benefit of the data quality. So.
Okay, great, thanks. Let me go to the next slide. Yeah, lessons learned.
Yeah, I mean, really, I'm going to say include everyone and keep an open mind. Have your requirements in hand and have those, your scope well defined and stick to your scope. Listen to everyone, but it doesn't have to change your scope. Try to think of every possible scenario in your testing. Make sure everybody is ready on the go live. I mean, you're gonna have areas that you didn't think of. I mean, we've rolled this out to, I think, 48 sites now, and we're still hitting little things, well, I didn't think of this. So, or you still have people giving input. I'm starting a new enhancement right now as we speak, and you always have people giving input, and a lot of them are great ideas. So just listening to the users, sticking to your requirements, and do a thorough testing, and make sure your users are involved so you have a great user adoption. So.
Right. Okay. And then I think final slide is key takeaways. I don't know if there's any couple of things you want to highlight here.
Yeah, especially that first one I said. I mean, make sure your requirements are there, and make sure your scope is locked down. You can really get carried away in something like this if that's not happening. Identify all of your actors. Know what you want to do. Your master data. How does it apply to? I mean, a terminal is not going to be run the same way a pipeline is. Those type of things involve all the management of all those sites, all those places. Take it in small chunks. Do it in phases. And again, if you're including the right people, your management support's going to be there. Always listen to the users, because that's how you're going to grow your app. And if you look at anything today, any successful software has a user group. That's who drives the app. It's the same way, it's just on a smaller scale here. They drive the app, and they actually, when they get in there and they see something in the app that says, hey, that was my idea, it really gives them ownership. And it's good for them because they want to be accountable for that. So, and then find the right tool that's for you. So that's where we were at. So.
And then, yeah, so this is the last slide. We'll open it for Q&A. So my email is right there. The phone number is there. Please feel free to contact us. We will send you a link to the recording and the slide deck, so you'll have all that. But that and the contact information will also be sent to you. I'm going to stop sharing at this point in time, and we'll take questions now. Okay, there's a question here. It'll be rated, Jim. Can you confirm, did you say an 8-inch device versus the standard 10 plus iPad? No, I can take that and you can add. No, I think what Jim was saying was they are using Windows 10 tablets, GTAC tablets. Jim, can you just tell about the devices you're using?
Yeah, we're currently using the Windows F110 GTAC, which is a 10-inch Windows device tablet.
Do you happen to know the size of the tablet, or is it pretty standard tablet size?
It's a 10-inch. It's a 10-inch tablet.
Okay, so it is a 10-inch tablet that runs Windows 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that answered the question. I guess there is one more question, and not surprising, is about I think you mentioned about user adoption. And so the question is, is there anything specific you did for users to adopt the solution? Yeah.
Yeah. I said, yeah, I mean, the really only difficulty we had with user adoption was it was a change to their process of how to doing things, but that was kind of to be expected. The users themselves know this is a better way, and adoption, we overcame most of the hurdles pretty quick. And like I said, I was able to make sure they were using it by keeping a close eye on their transactions. I could see what needed to be done, what they were doing, what they weren't doing, and just maintain open communication with them, listen to them, get their ideas, and that's how I held them accountable in the app. So.
Okay, thanks. I think we are over 2 minutes over, actually. If there are any questions, please feel free to email us. At this point in time, I want to thank Jim for giving us his time and sharing your journey. Jim, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you to all the attendees here. And we'll follow up and send you all the information. Goodbye and have a good day. Bye.